thanks for joining me today. I'm Tina Carini with SpongeandStamp.com, and this is the cute little gift bag that we're going to make today. And what it holds inside are those very popular mug cakes. And I purchased this at Walmart for $2.50, and it comes with 4 individual pouches. They have the instructions on the back, and it comes with icing. So it makes the perfect little gift that fits perfectly inside this little bag. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so you're going to need a piece of designer series paper that measures 10.5 by 6 3/4. We're going to bring in our Stampin trimmer, and we are going to score this at 4, 5, 9, and 10 inches. And I will have all the measurements listed on my blog, as well as still pictures and a complete shopping list of all the products that I used today. Okay, so we're going to start at 4 inches. Make sure my cutting blade is out of the way. We're going to score it at 4 inches and 5 inches, 9 inches, 10 inches, and then we're going to score it at the bottom. So I have a directional piece of paper here, excuse me. So I want to make sure that my bottom is at the bottom of the paper, so that when our bag is assembled, my trees are all going towards the top. So we're going to score that at 1 inch. And then we're going to flip it or rotate it around to the opposite side, and we're going to score the top at 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so I believe that we are done with our trimmer. So put that out of the way. So we're going to bring in our paper snips and our bone folder. And I am going to just start scoring on all the score lines and give it a nice little burnishing, trying to stay in the camera. I don't think one of my score lines took. Yeah, it did. Okay, so there we go. Actually, did it? Yeah, it did. Okay, sorry about that. It's just so hard to see the score lines on patterned paper. And then our little 1/2 inch strip here, which is the flap that we're going to use to glue it together. And then our bottom and our top. We're going to do the opposite way for our top, just like so. Okay. All right. So now we are ready to trim it up with our paper snips. So I am going to just cut in at a diagonal to the center of that first score line on the 1/2 inch side, and then I'm going to just cut that right off, just like so. I'm going to give that a little miter, and then I'm going to do the same thing for all the score lines on the bottom. So what I'm doing is I am just taking out a step where you cut up the center line on the fold or on the score, and instead I'm just going ahead and mitering it up, just like so. So I'm just cutting out a little triangle with my score line in the center. Hopefully that makes sense. And then you can just do like this too. All right, so now we are ready to assemble. So let me clear this off of here. So we're going to use some Stampin tape, because that's a really strong adhesive, and I'm going to flip this over and around just like so you guys can see. And I'm going to put my Stampin tape along the side of our little 1/2 inch flap. So do that. Just like so. And I don't have my take your pick tool over here, I don't believe. Nope. Okay, so we're going to have to try to use fingernails, what's left of them. They're all breaking off. Okay, and then we're going to fold this over on this. You got this 2 score lines right here. You're going to fold it at this first score line right there, and you're just going to line this up just like so. Okay, and then it's all sealed together. All right, so now we are going to just put in the bottom. So we're going to figure out which is our front. So I want my front to be the opposite side where my seam is. So my seam is here. So I'm going to fold in the back and fold in the front. Okay, so I'm going to use some tear and tape for that as well. So I am just going to put some tear and tape right at the bottom of my flap. Just like so. I'm probably going to put a couple strips because I really want it to hold well. It's probably an overkill because this is super strong tape, but I just want to make sure that my bottom doesn't fall out on the person that I give this to. Okay, so I am going to take this, peel that off. Oh. There we go. And then the same thing with this one. Just like that. I want to make sure that my box is straight. And then I'm just going to fold that right down like so. And then I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to use my bone folder to kind of make sure that that's stuck down there just like so. Okay, and then we need 2 strips of cardstock, and I'm using Real Red, and these are for our handles, and they are 3/8 of an inch by 5 3/4. So what you're going to do is you're going to fold them down at 1 3/4 inch on both sides of each one. So I'm going to take it right about there. I actually went ahead and pre-marked it, so just to make it a little bit easier. All right, and then I'm going to fold this one down just like so. So there's one of my handles, super cute. And then we're going to do the same thing to this one. So just down like so, and down like so. Okay, so now we're ready to glue them. And I'm just going to use my liquid glue because it's really strong glue too. And I'm going to make sure that my seam, my front, okay, so this is the front of our bag. So I am going to put some glue right there and right there. And I am just going to center this on my bag, making sure that the top of my handle is parallel. And we're just going to hold that in place just a couple of seconds here, or a minute. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing to this bag here. So, and my folded part is what I want to be in the front. So on the back, it's going to be the folded part as well. Okay, so we're just going to stick that on there and trying to line it up with the front handle. So it's just going to stick on there, just like that, making sure that my handle is parallel. I had glue on my finger, so it was wanting to pull off there. Okay, so that is that part. All right, so now I have die cut ahead of time a circle in Real Red and in Whisper White. I also fussy cut out a house and 2 trees, a large one and a small one, from the same pack of paper. Let me show you. This is the scraps of what's left. So isn't that adorable? And I just picked the house that I wanted and cut them out. Okay, and then we're using some ribbon that I colored with my Real Red Stampin' Blend alcohol marker. And this is the, what is this called? The Snowflake Splendor ribbon. So it's really beautiful. It's iridescent, and I colored it, and look, it still shimmers and sparkles. It's so beautiful. Okay, so I used my Stitched Shapes dies to cut them out. So I used the largest two, just like so. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and adhere my Whisper White using liquid glue to my Real Red, just like so. All right, now we're going to attach our house. So I'm going to use dimensionals, and we're going to pop these up. So I've got my dimensionals, and I'm not going to waste any of this. So I am using my scraps as well. You know, the side parts, don't waste them. Don't throw them away. They still work perfect. Okay, and then we're just going to place our house probably right about there. All right, and then our trees. So I'm going to put one on the back of that little tree, and I'm going to put right here, just like so. Okay, so we are going to, and isn't this fun? Have you noticed, oops, that the trees match our paper too, because it coordinates so well. It is just perfect. I love the way that Stampin' Up's products coordinate with each other, and it makes it really fun to work with, and I feel like I know what I'm doing. Okay, so here we go. So now I'm going to pop this up as well, and that's it for that sheet. So we've got a nice new sheet right here, and I am going to put some right on there. We're going to peel the backs right off of this. And this is my back side of my box. So we're going to flip it over to the front. And right about here is where I'm going to put our little house. Okay, so isn't that cute? I just love it. All right, so now we need a piece of Whisper White cardstock to do our stamping. And I am using the Itty Bitty Christmas. And I thought I would use, we could use Happy Christmas or Christmas Cheer. And I think we're going to use Happy Christmas for this one. Okay, no, yes, we're going to use Happy Christmas. I'm going for it. All right, I think it will be fun. And we're going to use Real Red ink. I think this is Happy Christmas. I hope so. All righty. Okay, we're going to ink that up in some Real Red ink, and we're going to stamp that right towards the bottom of our cardstock. Hopefully I stamped it straight. It's a little crooked. Let's try it one more time. There we go. Okay, so we're just going to fussy cut this out. We could bring in our Stampin' trimmer, and if you wanted it to make sure that it was perfectly straight, but I'm not too concerned about it. So we're just going to go right along here, just like so. And then that is going to go down at the bottom. And if you wanted to, you could flag it, or you can use one of the punches to give it a fancy edge. But I'm just going to go ahead and flag this one, just like that, and do the other end too. So remember to hop on over to my blog so that you can get all the measurements and a complete shopping list of everything that I used. I also did a Facebook Live on this, and I did a couple of different versions, but I kind of goofed on, I forgot to fold this down before I glued it, so we had to cut the corners. So it's a good way to see if you do make a mistake. Don't worry about it. Don't throw away your designer series paper and waste it. You can still save your project. So, and then I did, like I said, I did a couple of another version of it, and if you don't have 12 by 12 designer series paper, you can use 6 by 6s. So I showed you how to do that on the Facebook Live. All right, so we can always tweak this and make this look fancier by adding some rhinestones or jewels or anything like that, but I'm just going to leave this blank. I'm just going to make the bow. You could put Wink of Stella like in the windows, so the windows got a frosty little look to them. Anything that you want to do, you do, because this is your project and you have the special person in mind that you want to give it to. And I promise you that they will love it because it is super cute. Super, super cute. All right, so I'm just going to trim up my bow. And we're going to use a glue dot to adhere this down. Just like that. Right in the center of our bag. I'm looking at it at an angle, so it's kind of hard to tell if I'm actually centered or not. So there we go. Oops, we got a little, there we go, there it is. And then we can take our mug cake mix and our frosting and slip that right inside here. And now we have the perfect gift for a teacher, for a coworker, a dentist office, a doctor's office, your UPS driver, your USPS, your mail delivery, secret pal. This would be a great little gift for a secret pal or just a friend or just anybody that you want to give a little something something to, and it's really special. So thank you so much for joining me today. Remember, this paper and more is on sale at a 15% savings, and the sale does end October 31st. I will also put a link in the description for that as well. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great afternoon. Toodly-doo.